Hi, it's that time again. Cut the nonsense. Let's talk MindSense. I'm your host, Meena J.
मन की बातें तो होती रहेंगी. Keep watching MindSense. I'm your host, Sarita Chand.
And in the studio joining us today is Puneet Dillon.
Hi, thank you for having me, guys. I feel really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much to see Aya Studio Vich. And so what were the challenges for you coming here? I guess, like you said, trying to find out which way to go or figuring out things. What did you find most difficult?
I think most difficult for me is I'm a very social person, so having no friends, having absolutely no network, so to say, and no family. So that is still the most difficult. And every day, I have this one thing. Oh my God, why are they not here, right? It's as simple as me getting my first job here, right? You want to see your parents' reaction to that. You want to see your friends, hug you and say, "Wow, you did a good thing." So that's happening on WhatsApp now. Video calls is literally my lifeline. And just secondly, I think it's tough because things are very expensive. And to be honest, a lot of immigrants don't really know about what the real picture will be when they come here, right? So getting gas filled, paying for insurance. I mean, these are simple things that everyone does, but for an immigrant, it can just be a little too much, right? Like all of a sudden, like these are new things that you gotta take care of. Rents are huge, and I didn't ever pay rent in India, so that also, right? But
now I have to pay rent.
I'm not complaining, but it's just a bit expensive. So I think that's another challenge. But other than that, I think this is a place to hustle. So I have that mindset that I have to hustle, right? And there would be challenges that come every day, but don't really think about them, to be honest. Yeah.
And then, so for your education that you had done in India, did you have to do anything extra here? How did you kind of navigate around that to get employment or get your qualifications?
I think I'm one of the lucky ones in the sense that my degree is very generic. Right, so I'm not a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer, right? That I've done a specific professional course. So I think for people who come with that degree, that those people have to do a lot of foreign credential recognition and take a lot of tests, right? For me, it was more about just refining myself and just communicating in the right way. So I didn't have to do any other course or certification to get into the system, but I think that as time goes on, I will definitely be doing more and more.
Yeah. There's lots of opportunities for upgrading
there is
education. You could always go and learn, and I
think that's the best part about this country, that there's no age to learning, right? And there's just no stigma to learning at a certain age or doing something for the first time at maybe 33 or 35 or 40 even, right? So that's just one great thing.
And I think the other thing is a lot of organizations also support for the education,
for sure,
right?
Yes.
So it's definitely right.
In fact, PICS has so many programs. We have a foreign credential recognition program for professionals who've been trained in degrees that I just spoke about, right? So we offer them loans up to 15,000, and that really helps people, because our manager who's managing this program says, when people like those come at the airport, they just landing at the airport, they just lose all their hopes, right? And then the journey of taking exams and paying for them and doing a full-time job, it's a lot of people just give up. So we are there to help them through this journey, right? Maybe motivating, providing them the financial assistance, and then just being their mentors, connecting them to the right people, getting them, internships, practicum work. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you touch on the subject, because I think, working in the social service sector ourselves, I never knew that there was even financial support for newcomers to have the credentials recognized.
I didn't know too.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot that the government does, both federal and provincial, and there's so many programs. So I think we're not doing a good job of marketing them, because ultimately there is a lot. So our endeavor this year is to just be out in the community to talk about these programs and to just let people know that there are services that they can use for free that will definitely help them be who they want to be.
Yeah, right? I think, for sure, I think Canada opens immigrants with open arms and also supports them
to
be a very like a good contributing
Member of
the community, right?
Definitely.
Because that's how they want to build the immigrants. So
Right.
they can contribute
I have this
back.
little thing that I tell myself, every time that I get demotivated. I'm like, this country gives you a fresh canvas and it gives you paints too. It's on you how you want to paint the canvas, right? Like you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink water. So out here you're getting everything, but people just have to know. And I think,
Nitala, your enthusiasm and your energy, because I think a lot of people would use that as, what it is. It does get overwhelming.
It's too hard.
It's too hard. It is hard. But I
does.
think, what you have to recognize when you make a choice of going to a new country, then you have to overcome those hurdles. There's always
Definitely.
going to be hurdles. And
Definitely.
reaching out and not giving up.
Not giving up.
Yeah.
And I think life is such a huge, long journey, right? Why is everybody like
every day.
hustling and just wondering like, oh my God, I don't have this right now. Like it's a long journey. You'll get there. Slowly. I think people come with the expectation that they're just gonna be like super rich, like within, a few years. But reality is, however much you put in is how much you get out. So yeah.
Richness comes from either from hard work or inheritance, right? It doesn't come, it doesn't come easy.
It doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
And I think we should all talk about like these hardships so that people who are going through it should not feel that they are the only ones, right? Like sometimes I believe that we are all pale blue dots. Like there's this very famous book by Carl Sagan. He's a philosopher and I'm not sure, like a scientist. And he says that the earth is a pale blue dot. So imagine what are you? So don't overthink and think you're the only one going through this problem.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
So what have you found here in Canada? Like obviously you work with other immigrants, new immigrants. They might be students, families, here for different reasons. What are you finding people mostly struggle with?
I think what I see is that people just give up their dreams because they want to they want to meet the immediate financial needs.
Yeah.
So a lot of people I think struggle with that they thought they would be something. And then they just get so involved in daily hustle, daily life that they lose sight of their goal, of why they came to this country, right? You just didn't come to the country to pay your bills.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing which, like that foresight is kind of missing because, you got to do this, you got to do this.
Yeah.
So there's just no time that you can actually sit back and say, hey, what are my, long-term goals? Where do I see myself? So how do I kind of build towards it?
Yeah, and I think it's the scales, right? It's like when I'm thinking you come and you, like you said, some people might not have a cousin or friend that they can go live with for 3 months, but they might not have that option, having to go and live on your own, and right away you need to find a job to afford your lifestyle.
Exactly.
Right away paying rent, buying, getting food. So
you just
you get caught up in
that
cycle.
vicious cycle. Yeah.
It's like you can't, like, how do you? And it takes people such a long time to be able to get a little bit more grounded and settle, so that now they can start taking some maybe go back to school or but I really liked I like to hear that, and I think you said it, that you were one of the lucky ones to say you didn't have to go through the process of getting recognition for your studies abroad, that you were able to get a job. But I think what I'm hearing is that's quite a barrier for a lot of people.
It is. I can give you my example, right? Like I have 3 cousins who are now here. One of them is a lawyer from back in India. 2 of them are dentists, and they had their own practice in India. So they left that, they came here. One is not working because she's just wanting to clear the exam and become a dentist. She has that goal, but it's been 3 years. It's been 3 years.
It's a long
and
process.
The exam just comes like once a year. So getting the registration is a problem because it just goes away, right? And the other one is working for a dental clinic at the reception. So obviously she's not doing what she was doing. So, she also has to motivate herself to that she'll get there, but it's going to be a long journey. My cousin who's a lawyer, he has taken 1 exam. He's cleared that. He has 4 more to go. and he's working with Vancity as customer service representative. So I'm sure there are many more examples like that, right? And I know it's very hard.
Yeah.
But I'm not just talking about PICS. There are other community organizations, in Surrey and around Surrey that help immigrants, like I just mentioned.
So tell us more about kind of the differences between like nonprofits over there. Now you're working for a nonprofit, which from what you were saying before, like there's a lot of differences and a lot of the way they work. So let's kind of go back to India, and because we know somewhat of what the nonprofits are here, but tell us more about how it works in India, who organizes this, and how does it come together, and then how do they help people? How does the whole system of a nonprofit in India work?
Right. So India has a lot of nonprofits. Some of them are just run as corporations, and they're international organizations with presence in India. For example, UNICEF, Save the Children, SOS Children's is an international charity. So a lot of those have
bases in India.
They're based in India because a lot of work on the ground happens in India. So, and then you'll have these, people in the community who have been living in the community and they feel that something needs to be done. So they organize their cooperatives. So there are a lot of women, groups that are working on issues that affect them. So a lot of like micro entrepreneurship happens, and that happens at a very small level, right? Like very specific to a particular village or a region. And then there are just national NGOs which were set up like, because of some issue way back, like maybe 5 to 10 decades back, and they have presence all over the country. A lot of nonprofits nowadays are kind of social enterprises that they're using a lot of tech, and they are kind of like, social startups that the idea is to reach to the masses, right? And one of the problems is penetration, in the sense that there is no mobile in a lot of places. So a lot of programs don't reach the people that it is intended for. I mean, there's just so much that happens in India, right? Like you go to one state, one province, there is issues about, like female feticide or, like young girls being married off at a very young age. Then you go to some others, province, and there are issues of drinking water. Then some province doesn't have roads, doesn't have schools because the people were corrupt and they used the money that was allocated for the roads and schools, for whatever reasons. So every province is so different, and every province has their own issues. It's so divided. So there's just so much scope, right? to
a lot of things.
A lot of
differences.
A lot of differences, yes.
And I guess so. When you come over here, it's more organized.
Oh, definitely.
And
yes, definitely.
And it's more, it's more out there, the
or accountability
right.
of where the money goes and things like that that happen. So, as an immigrant, when you want to move and you're in India, what is the process? Like, you get yourself ready. How do you get yourself ready? I know, like, whatever process you have, the paperwork and the immigration work, that is a process. But for yourself, your family, whether it's a single female or a student or a family coming together, what is the process of actually coming here? Because yes, still we see when people come here, it's, they're not actually prepared for the work that goes into moving to different, even though we know, like if I'm going to move to a different country, obviously I have to start from scratch. But I guess it's still a lot overwhelmed. So what is the process? How do you prepare yourself? Then is that enough?
Good question. I don't think you can prepare yourself for the reality, but good ways of kind of just getting to know whatever people can tell you is attending a lot of seminars. So a lot of people kind of conduct workshops and seminars to inform people about basic stuff like how to get your mobile phone and how to open a bank account.
So I think in India they have workshops.
In India they
That's
do.
Good to know.
Yes.
So,
Yes. So it really, and there are so many forums, right? So if you're like tech savvy, then Reddit is one place where you can actually go and read about people's own experiences. There are Facebook groups. So I did that. I wanted to read about what people say, like how do they feel when they are here 2 years, 5 years. So I prepared like that. I mean, just asking it from the horse's mouth, just how is it?
Yeah.
Reaching out to random people on Facebook groups and just saying, what are you doing? How did you get a job? But to be honest, nothing can prepare you for coming to a new country and just, finding your base. Yeah.
And was it also, did you face barriers when you came to the application process to, initial application process to migrate to Canada? Like what the process in India? Were they,
it's a bit too long. I think it's because of the demand and supply, right? So many people from India apply to come here, and I applied from Delhi, so I went through an immigration consultant, and they just were so confident, right, that basis on what, like, on the points system, right, based on the experience and the education qualifications that you would get these many points, like they projected. But the application process did take about a year in whole, right? Like applying and then waiting for the confirmation, then get them kind of asking for a medical examination. So in India, just getting an appointment for a medical is also like a big thing because of the number of people and the number of facilities which are not the same.
Yeah, and that's the reason I asked this question is like, and I think on one hand you can say that it's a long process, but on the other hand you need that time to get through all these appointments and everything to come to the final point. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to.
You would not
make a deadline,
So definitely, and I know for a fact that so initially about a few years back, people from Punjab came to Canada quite a lot, but now a lot of my friends in Delhi or my friends in Bombay or other places of like Bangalore for that matter, it's in South India. A lot of people are migrating to Canada, have applied for their PR based on the express entry system, and they're just waiting for their PR to come. So yeah.
So, and I love these questions. Like we come from India. Like we have majority of the people we're surrounded by is not our ethnic Indians, and not that vast multiculturalism, although there is. But you come to Vancouver, you land in Vancouver. How was the experience when you see such like vast multicultural diversity?
Honestly, I was very surprised the first few days when I spotted, like just apni janta, walking around, and I was like, but after a week, I just felt so comfortable, and I'm saying hats off to these people who came here, who established themselves, and because of them, people like us we don't have to worry about a lot of things, right?
Exactly,
it just comes easy because it's like back home. There's no difference.
Yeah, definitely. Like the environment here feels so safe.
So safe and so like home.
And also very welcoming.
Very welcoming, yes. I think people in Canada are very open. They just want to help. So that has been one of my observations since day one. They'll be smiling. They just want to be like, hey, how can I help you? Like, it just feels nice, right?
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Oh, that's good. That's good, good experience you have to share. Usually people have the opposite.
No, I feel very lucky. I mean, you'll obviously encounter people, who are just different, but just generally, people are very, very sweet and I think very innocent here.
So I know you talked about, being here and kind of like the emotional side of it, where you're by yourself, like your friend group, and it's different because the people you grow up with, because I was born in England and I went to high school in England, so the friendships that you form there during your high school, and then you come to a different country, it's different, and to even form friendships is very hard. So talk a bit about that, and maybe like, did you find any, because you're not from here, or maybe you have an accent, were you judged or looked at it a different way? How, and also like the emotional, when you're alone, and you miss those connections, your family's not here, your best friends, that's where like your long lost friends aren't here, that connection, building that connection.
Yeah, I think, so that's a very tough one, but being in the defense, like my dad being in the defense really helped because every 2 years we moved. So even though I attach myself a lot, but I'm kind of used to just going to a new place and finding a group. But I'm 33, and I came here 2 years back, so I was 31 when I came here, and no friends. So I think at that age, it's tough to make friends because you really don't know where will you meet them, right?
Yeah.
So there are no places that you would meet them. There's no uni to go to. You're not taking any courses together. You're not going for some dance class. I mean, you can do, but there's just no like place where you can meet these people, right? So that is one problem that I'm still trying to kind of figure a way around. That where do I meet like-minded people?
Yeah.
But then I just tell myself that maybe I'll just find friends along the way, and this is a part of adulting, like they say, or growing up.
I mean, I came here, when I was kind of late teens, but I still found it hard at that time to make friends because I guess when you're in school, it's you grow up with it is automatic, and then it's like either through work or something. But especially like as you get older, 30s, people usually have their own lives. Yes, you see them at work, but very rarely will you kind of everybody has their own separate home
Exactly.
life. So it is hard.
It is hard, but I do have a few friends who've moved from India like I did, but one of them is in Burnaby, one is in Vancouver, so we don't meet that often, right? As much as we would like to, and also I think it's just because they again have their own lives there. And I have my own life here, so I play tennis in the evening after work.
That's good.
Then I just do some yoga. So it's just difficult to kind of travel that distance and meet my friends. So we make plans, and then somebody cancels, and then we kind of catch up, once in 3 months or just whenever we get time.
That's very common, even the people who have been here a long time. That also happens to people who've been here
I can imagine
as well.
Yeah, because Canada is like that, right? Work, 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 work. So every day you have your schedule, to-do list ready to be check marked.
And I think, as we're growing older, the other thing is that we look at ways as have to find balance in our life, right? We have work, we have our social circle, we also start to pay more attention to self-care. That's another thing too. This is something like when you were younger, who pays attention to that? Self-care meant talking to your friends till 2 a.m. in the morning,
I know.
That's my time with my friends.
I know.
It changes as you grow older, so.
I think, yes. Maybe I needed to come here and be on my own, because in India, just with friends and doing just every day, chilling and just being with a social circle. And out here, I've been forced to think about myself, and I think that's been
Spend
a
time with
very
yourself.
crazy journey, because you don't want to know yourself
Like your own
that
company.
well. Yeah. Am I like this? Oh my God.
No, you want to ignore that part.
But then just lately I've been very introspective. I've been thinking about a lot of things, trying to think about upskilling, right? So I'm glad that I don't have too many friends.
Yeah, and the other thing I was just going to mention is that, Puneet, I remember me when I wanted to do something different, like for example hiking, and I looked at hiking groups and things like that, because thinking about where you want to meet like-minded people, the meetups, there's lots of meetups, around us, so we get to meet with a lot of like-minded people, and then you build those connections.
Definitely.
That's a good way. Yeah.
It is. So Meetups is an app on my phone, and I kind of use it.
Yeah.
So,
Another thing actually we didn't mention is a lot of people might be driving in India. So were you driving there? Are you driving here?
Yes.
Okay, so you
I used to drive in India. I started driving when I was 18, so I don't know how long, but I drove for quite a few years. And I came here, and the initial few months, because I didn't have a car, so I used to take Uber quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I used to get so overwhelmed with the traffic while sitting in the Uber. I was like, oh my God, how do people drive here? It's so difficult. I can never do it.
India was worse. That's a problem. I'm so
I know, but it's just that out here everything's so big, and a road, people are on high speed, and people follow rules. In India,
people don't follow rules.
They don't follow rules, right? You get used to that kind of
yeah,
way
so
of
what are
driving.
these crazy people doing following the rules? Doesn't matter if it's red, go.
So this is a very funny story. When I started learning driving, I took some lessons before taking my exam. So my instructor was like, why do you stop like, why do you stop at a green light? Why do you not go? Like, why is your first instinct, like, you know, looking here and there, like, are people coming? And she's like, this is not India. There is no person's going to run and, you know, while this light is green. She's like, go. Like, people are going to honk.
Yeah.
And then she's like, at a pedestrian, like, the crossing, you got to stop. You cannot be a rolling stop. Like, you got a hard stop. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that got a lot of getting used to.
Yeah.
But I drive. I got my license, and then I've been driving for about a year and a half now.
Okay, so that's
That was the first thing, because I think staying in Surrey, like,
Yes.
not having a car is very tough, and it's expensive to use, you know, Uber and
I think
public transport.
anywhere in Vancouver, or you know, when you migrate, it is hot.
It is,
So
yes.
I mean, that makes it easier to get around. Like,
At least
even
you
if
have
were
your
taking
own
public transport to find out, you know, where you're gonna have to live or where you're
Yeah.
working. That is a lot of.
It is,
You
it
know,
is.
which buses you have to take, and
Yeah.
it is a lot of work to get used to.
And then grocery shopping.
Yes. Tell us about the food.
Yes.
Differences.
Are there differences?
That's what everybody says. Like,
I think the
guess
food-
even, you know, what you're used to from back home, it's different.
The taste, one thing I'll say, the taste is definitely better back home, or maybe I'll take some time
That's what I
getting
hear
used
mostly,
to.
yes.
Yeah. But I've now found some good restaurants that are my go-to for biryani and for you know, some curry. So it's taken a lot of hits and tries. I order out quite a lot because I just wanted to, you know, taste everything that's available here, and then say this is my favorite restaurant. So yeah, I have a few places.
Like, I even feel, you know, exploring ourselves, I'm thinking, you know, even oh my God, this food is so good. It tastes very
Yeah.
authentic, right? I think we are all looking for that very authentic home style
Yeah.
flavors.
Because once you've tasted something
Yeah.
good, you're like, okay, you're always looking for that taste, right? And
yeah.
but I
And also
found
you grow up with that taste, right? So
Yes.
you're accustomed to that.
I think it's more that, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you grow up with it. So the smells and the
Yeah,
taste.
the-
Whenever I pass some place and there's a tadka smell, I legit I'm like, oh, it smells nice now.